there, it's Sue Wilson. I've got a lovely happy birthday card with some unusual colors. We've gone for pinks and silver on this one. We're going to show you what we'll be using in the video today. From our Noble Expressions, we have the large happy birthday. It's also a shadowed expression. A couple of flowers that I'm going to embellish with from the Blossom Patch. From our triple layering die collection, we are going to be using the Charlene border. This is pretty. And I'm actually from the triple layering collection. I've got the Roselyn die, but we are not going to be triple layering this, so I'll show you what you can do with that. I'm going to be doing some embossing with the 3D embossing folder called Ribbon Swirls. And the Penelope die, which is also a layering die, we're going to use that for our focal element. And I've used a couple of the double-stitched ovals for the middle of the card to seat my sentiments in. Lots of dies for this one, but it's great fun. Okay, set those to the side. I'm going to start with my embossing. I've got a piece of antique silver card here, and I'll give you a quick measurement on it. It is 7 and just a hair over 7 1/4 by 5 1/2. Okay, I'm going to bring in the ribbon swirls. Pop this inside. Now this is one of the 3D embossing folders, so you have a very, very deep emboss on this. So I personally prefer to use the thinner white adapter plate with this, but depends on your machine. If your machine is a really tight machine, you might want to go with this. If it's not quite as tight, then you can use the raspberry adapter. Okay, I'm going to give it a quick run through. Okay. Bring that up, and you've got this lovely emboss that comes through with that. So what we're going to do is use some gilding polish across the top of it. I've got some Silver Dream gilding polish here, and I'm just going to pop the applicator out of the lid. Just use the heel of your hand and pop it over. Pick up a little bit on the side. You don't need too much. And then we just want to go over the top of this. So we're going to have kind of a tone on tone, but when you move that card around, you'll really see that sparkle. It's quite pretty. Just sort of move it in a circular motion lightly across the top. You can add more if you like. If you really wanted to show up or be heavier, you can do that. I like just having that ever so slight sparkle going across the top there. There we go. Okay. Oh, and the other thing I'll tell you, if you take a little bit of a water spritzer and just give it a couple little spritz before you put it away, you won't have any problem with it ever drying out. It's a water-based product though, so it does evaporate. But you can see you get just a really nice little shine off of that. So I'm going to go ahead and pop that into place. And I've also used some of the Old Rose card, which is that real beautiful dusty rose color. Looks so pretty with the silver, I think. Put that right into place. Okay, we're going to work from the inside outward, so I'm going to go and do my borders next. So I've taken the Charlene and I've cut the top layer out of white and the center layer out of the Old Rose. So I'm going to put those two together, line them up, and I like to just sort of hover over the design until I've got what looks like all the little pieces lined up straight. You've got the tiny little pieces down below. That looks pretty good. Give that a push into place. I'm going to bring in the outer cutting edge for that and find my tape. Here it is. Just center it nice and evenly over all the border. Piece of tape on both sides. You want to hold it in there nice and steady. Okay. And bring in my cutting plates. Okay. Pop that down. I'm going to give this one a quick cut. So you have a nice clean cut on these. And they'll line up beautifully. You want to put this back in place. Now I have gone ahead and cut the antique silver using the backing piece already. There we go. So I'm going to put that behind it and a little bit of sticky on there. There we go. And quick spray. You can use wet glue if you like as well, but just for speed I'm going to use some spray glue. Line that one up. Let me get a hold of it. Get it all nice and straight. go. So you can see I've got one done earlier. I've got two of them, so I'm going to put them on either side of my card. There it is. And let's use some glue on this. Bit of cosmic on the back of both of these. There we go. Okay. Put that away. And that will seat right on the edge here. Give you a pretty accent on the side of your card, and it really does tie in all those colors really nicely. Put this one on here. Okay, that'll set up, give that a second. I'm going to go on to the Penelope. And now the same thing with this one. I've cut the top in white, and then the centerpiece is going to be in the Old Rose. So I'm going to hover over the design and just sort of line up all the pieces so they look nice and even. Lay that into place. Now if you've got the spray glue and you've got a bit on the edge that still sticks out, you want to cut that away or it will stick to your base plate when you cut. There we go. And I'm going to bring in the cutting die. Now what I want to do is use the inner cutting die first. I'm going to line this up and tape it into place. There, use a couple of these. There, in fact, let's use one more. It's kind of a large die. Okay. Pop that into our machine. Alrighty. Take that away and put this back on our cutting plate. Okay, so I've gone ahead and cut the backing out of silver using that same plate, or same die. I'm going to spray that and line it up so I have the same sort of white, pink, and silver layer on this one as well. But what I wanted to do was show you that it also has an outer cutting edge that's a little bit different. It's got some piercing around it, and I've done this one in white, so I'm going to layer that up on top of that. Let's use a little bit of glue on the back, and this will give it a nice little shadow outside of it. Okay. Center that. Looks pretty good. Now I've cut the Roselyn die and I've just used the top portion of it, and I went ahead and cut it in half because what we're going to do is we're going to just layer that underneath it a little bit. And I think I'll just use a little bit of tape on the top and the bottom. And I'll do this side. So I want to just layer this up so it just peeks out the bottom here, about like so. There. You can do this one. Same thing, which is, in fact, I like to do it towards me. Find it a little easier to see. Layer this one up. Try and get it nice and straight. There we go. And I'm going to add some mounting foam to the back here, and that'll just sort of raise it up, give it some dimension in the middle of our card. Put a couple pieces. Okay. So now I can seat this right in the middle. Whoops. Between my borders, just have it sort of peeking out. So there, so I've got a frame I've already done, and I've added a couple little flowers on the edge there, a little bit of a rose backing. I'm going to go ahead and add some glue here. I'm going to seat that right in the center of that Penelope die. All those pretty colors come in. And I've got the happy birthday. I've done a couple of times. I'm going to give it some spray. I can seat that right in the middle. Pop that down on the bottom portion. There. And let me do the happy. Oops. Okay. And that can go right above there. Give that a second. And there you have it, a beautiful card that you could give to anybody for your birthday. Hope you've enjoyed the video, and don't forget I have an Instagram account for you at Sue Wilson Crafter if you want to see all my cards in one place.